So this morning, I was getting gas at Sheetz. It was about 7:30, and I heard this big bang. I didn't know what it was, and I kind of looked around, and there was a contractor's van sitting there, and here what it was, a guy slammed the door. And I heard him like shouting obscenities and yelling and screaming. I didn't know what was going on. At first, I thought he was yelling at the guy that was driving the van, because this guy was sitting in the passenger seat, but that wasn't the case. He got out and he started walking pretty quickly across the parking lot, continuing to yell and scream obscenities at some guy that was delivering gasoline to Sheetz. He was in a Sheetz tractor trailer, a tanker. And I'm kind of watching this unfold, and things calmed down a little bit. Something had happened in the parking lot. I don't know what it was. The guy from Sheetz was probably trying to get over top of the tanks. I don't know what happened, okay? But this guy that flipped out, he walks into Sheetz, and I finished pumping my gas, and the first thing I see when I walk in is this guy, and he's at the lottery vending machine or whatever. They have these vending machines, you're probably familiar with them. Instead of taking all the time at the counter, you can go put money in the vending machine and get scratch off tickets. So this is the same guy that was just yelling and screaming in the parking lot. So I leave, and I got to thinking to myself, you know, this guy, it was 7:30 in the morning. Two horrible decisions, one right after another, you know? He got out screaming and swearing and ready to get into a fight over absolutely nothing, I'm sure, and then right to buy lottery tickets. Just one bad decision after another. And, you know, one of my favorite TV shows ever was The Office, and some wise words from Dwight Schrute. Before you do anything, you should ask yourself if this is something that an idiot would do. If it is, don't do that thing. You know what I mean? But some people are just prone to making one bad decision after another. And then usually they blame the results of those decisions on somebody else. Now, I made a lot of really bad decisions, you know, when I was younger. But the older you get, you start to kind of, not everybody, but you kind of start to figure things out, you know? And this guy that I'm talking about, he was close to my age. He was probably 50, you know, and still making horrible decisions. It's just, I don't get it. Oh, and speaking of the lottery and gambling, I remember several years ago, I don't know, 15 years ago here in Pennsylvania, when they legalized like casinos or whatever. They did that because they said they were going to reduce, maybe possibly eliminate property tax from all the revenue that came from the casinos. Well, that never happened. And property taxes just kept going up and up. And then the other day, I found it kind of funny. There was a story about an illegal gambling ring. I don't know if they were gambling machines or something like that. They got busted. And I got to thinking to myself, the only thing that made those things illegal was the fact that the state was not getting their cut from them. That's it. You know what I mean? So it is legalized gambling if the state gets their money. If not, it's illegal. But anyway, enough about that nonsense. I just hooked up to the dump trailer. I have a very busy day planned. If I get half, even 1/3 done, what I would like to get done, it will still be a pretty good day. I need to take the dump trailer up to my buddy Adam's place at some point today and get some more IBC totes. I've got a big old beautiful white oak log over there that I'd like to get sawn up into some nice quarter sawn and rift sawn. I'd like to do some land clearing out by the mini cabin. I got a bunch of down trees out there that I still haven't got cleaned up yet. I need to do that. We're just going to have to see how it all goes. Plus, it's going to be hot. I think today is the first day of the heat wave that's coming. It's going to be about 90, 89 or 90, they say, by later on today. And then that is supposed to stick around for the next 4 days or so. So hopefully it won't last too long. And I would like to time it so I'm in a air-conditioned cab later today when it's 85 or 90 degrees. That would be good. There's another rabbit over there. I can't figure out what is going on with the rabbits here. We hadn't seen them for years. I mean, you know, you might see one or two here or there, but this year the rabbits are everywhere, and I have no idea why. I don't know why I feel like I need to know, but I'm just curious as to what happens, you know? You'll go 5 or 6 years and you'll hardly ever see a rabbit, and then this year, they're everywhere. There were 3 of them when I came down here this morning, and there's one more up here right now. I don't know what's going on. All right, this is kind of ironic. I was just talking about making bad decisions, and I kind of made one myself. I got up here to the house with the dump trailer, and the hunt man was ready to go to Sheets. He did not go on the first trip early this morning, so I said, all right, let's hop in the Blue Roo. We'll head over to Sheets. So we drive over there. Now, most times, Hunter will wait in the car or the truck. He can take it or leave it. He can go in, he can wait. He waits much better in the vehicle, though. He's totally fine just sitting there waiting for me to go in and get his stuff. Well, today there wasn't many cars in the parking lot, and I thought, you know what, do you want to come in? He sat there for a minute, kind of deciding, and then he opened the door. I'm like, all right, come on in. Well, we go in, we order his food, everything's going fine, and then I said, you can go get a drink. Well, normally I'll get him like a vitamin water or a, you know, some kind of Gatorade or whatever, but Hunter just loves pop, you know, so I knew how this was going to go. He goes right over to the cooler, gets a Diet Mountain Dew. Well, I'm not going to try to wrestle it off him in the store. I'm like, that's fine. So we go up to pay. Well, there's 3 or 4 people in front of us in line, and Hunter is the most impatient person you would ever meet. If there's a flagger on the highway, you know, stopping traffic, no, he's pointing, he wants to go. Well, we're standing there behind these 4 people, and they're updating their system or something, and this lady that works there, she is so nice, and Hunter's being decent for a little bit. Well, next thing you know, he's kind of pointing and yelling, not extremely loud, but everybody could hear it, you know, and I'm just like, it's okay, Hunter, it'll be fine. Calm down. Just wait a minute. And this poor lady, she knows what's going on. She's trying to rush through everybody, and the system was updating. The machine was having trouble. We finally got up there, got everything paid for, got his food, and just got home. So I probably should have thought a little better of that one. All right, we're getting on the road here, headed up to Adams for some IBC totes. So I think there's people that still don't believe me when I tell them how useful a mini skid is.
It's handier than a shirt pocket, Mike. If I had to get rid of everything I own as far as equipment goes tomorrow, this would be one of the last pieces to go.
No joke.
No doubt. Yeah, it's just so useful, and
just quick, easy,
on and off. You're not like getting in and out of it. Getting up and down off a tractor is a pain, you know, but getting in and out of a full-size skid steer is even worse.
And like we were talking about the lift capacity of this, you know how big of a tractor you need that'll lift what one of these will lift?
Right, you would have to go considerably bigger. That tractor over there is 37 horsepower, and it'll lift a IBC tote of wood about this high off the ground, where this will go as high as the machine will lift it.
Yeah.
This limitations is weight, but I could actually add a little bit more counterweight to this machine, and then it would even lift more than what it does now.
They're just so quick and easy. You get on, off, you're both the operator and the laborer, you know what I mean? And it's just...
Yeah, for short you know, don't get me wrong, if you're going to be on a machine for 8 hours a day,
yeah,
I'll take a cab machine any day. But for little short stuff, you know, this thing's used every day around
and that's
here.
mostly like what I do. You're
Right.
just on and off this stuff all the time.
Yeah, yep. And
Yeah.
they're just really handy. And for all the bigger they are, it's efficient on fuel too. You know, it sips fuel.
Yeah.
It's just, they're just handy.
Well, Adam has a safety reminder for everybody. Let's show them.
Yeah, let's.
So what do we got here?
That's a almost failed trailer hitch right there.
And that's a solid, I mean, that's a heavy duty hitch.
It's a solid shank hitch, and then the side of this is marked 8 ton. I'm sure that this piece had a rating on it. I don't know what it was or is, but I was using that to pull my 14,000 pound tilt trailer the other day.
Empty.
Well, no, I had an excavator on it when I noticed it. You know,
Okay.
I had the 304 on there, which is a 10,000 pound machine. Trailer weighs around 3.
Yeah.
So I was well within limits of what that should have been in my mind. Anyhow, you know, it's solid shank. That there's an indication you should be able. You know, don't make it that heavy if it's not.
Yeah.
But just people need to look at their equipment. You know, I caught that before something.
When did you notice it?
Before I left the job site, I was coming home. You know, from the job site. I didn't have that far to go, so I knew it was like that. I took my time coming home, got it home that way, and then I took it out of service, you know. But
yeah, that's crazy though. Like you say, that's says, what did it say on it? 8 ton.
it says 8 ton right here on the side of this.
Yeah.
8 ton on the pintle hitch.
Maybe that.
Maybe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't rated for that.
Wow. Yeah, that could be ugly.
Yeah.
So check your hitches. All right, so I got back from Adams a little bit ago, and now I'm doing a blade change on the sawmill. Last night I was down here sawing some lumber. Actually, all I really did was change blades. I got into a bunch of metal last night. It was ugly. I mean, bad. I wasn't even filming. Usually things go pretty good down here. Last night, that was not the case. Trying to saw some white oak. No staining on the ends or anything like that, and one nice log, I hit 2 pieces of metal, screwed up 2 blades on 1 log, and I mean, it was bad. I thought one was almost at the very end, and I was just trying to get through it, and the blade was diving, it was dull. I almost just shut her down and thought I was gonna have to cut it off, but I didn't. But that blade is just trashed. Now the log I've got on the mill right now, it could be the nicest log I've ever had on this mill. I'm not sure yet. We won't know till we get into it. Could turn into a repeat of last night, but this one's gonna take some time. It's a massive white oak, and it looks pretty good. We should get some really, I don't want to get too excited. If all goes well, we should get some spectacular, big, wide, quarter sawn boards with tons of raise and flex in them. That is best case scenario. So Melissa just came down to the sawmill. Hot one, isn't it?
It is hot. Everyone's sweaty, smelly, you know.
Yeah, we were just talking about
you need to run out in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to go up with the hunt man here in about an hour.
Yeah.
What's my greatest? I don't want to get into what all my flaws are because we could be here for days.
Oh, yeah.
But what is one thing I'm good at, Melissa?
Battery on your camera would die before I got to the end of the list. I'm kidding. Okay, so we always say Mike is a hard worker. That's just always a given. The kids say it, wow, he's just always a hard worker. He always finds a way to provide. That's number one. Number two, he's very good at taking Hunter out for like a daily ride, getting him out into the community, taking him places.
I was telling them earlier about taking him to Sheets this morning, and some people would get worked up about that. You know, he's pointing and yelling. And like, I don't care. I just don't care.
You're very good at it, at not caring, but I mean, you're very good at handling that situation. It's not that the rest of us do care too much. We all can put ourselves in that other person's shoes, meaning the person watching, like, what's going on? The thing of it is, I think in the first 1 to 2 minutes, like Hunter carries himself a certain way. His hands are usually always here, or he's like flapping. I think in 1 to 2 minutes, you're going to say to yourself, okay, something's up here. You know, as much as you're in society, and if you see someone that's like on drugs or drunk or something, you're like, okay, that person had too much to drink. You can kind of tell by their body language and their movements what's going on. In Hunter's situation, he doesn't look drunk or on drugs. He just looks like, okay.
I do feel bad for the people like in front of me in line because they have no idea. And then all of a sudden someone behind him, he starts, oh yeah.
Yeah, he's for a guy that can't talk, he's good at getting his point across.
He is so impatient though.
He's impatient with the things that he shouldn't be.
I know.
Whereas then he is patient for the things that I'm like,
I know.
But yeah, he gets his point across. He does well. You do well with him. I think I do well with him. I used to take him everywhere. I took those kids to Kennywood and Idlewild and the Soaks at like all these parks in the summertime. I drug him along and he enjoyed it, but I was Hunter's, like the kids all brought a friend and I was Hunter's friend, you know. But anyways, Hunter's birthday is coming up. It's June 30th, and we're going to have a surprise birthday party for him with our family.
It's going to be fun. You had some great ideas.
Yeah. So I'm trying to talk Mike into doing a live.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that later that evening or something.
Yeah. We're going to do a dance party, and everybody's going to dress in basketball shorts and shirts that say stuff. And everyone's going to, I asked everyone to bring something to feed 4 to 6 people from a restaurant that you know Hunter would like from a place. So
yeah,
those fun things. And I'm going to talk Mike into maybe a water slide or something.
Yeah, maybe we could do something.
Can you see you and I on a water slide, Mike?
I can see you.
So we're going to have a little fun on his birthday, and that's coming up. But yeah, you are good at taking him places, and I think the key is because you don't care, and it's not that we care too much. I think, well, I don't trust myself. I'm afraid. I've been through so many times of people
someone say something,
stuff,
Melissa be all over.
and at this point in life, like, listen, man, I'm 55. I quit caring about certain stuff.
I got to tell him a quick story.
I'll meet you in the parking lot type of thing.
There used to be a little ice cream store in town, and Hunter was probably 11 or 12 or something.
I don't even think he was that old.
Maybe not even that old. And there was a fence in traffic, and the guy that ran it, he's kind of a crusty old guy, didn't have the right personality for an ice cream store. But anyway, these kids are messing around over by the fence, and they're yelling something at cars or doing something. And Hunter is just standing there, just chilling, not doing a thing, just kind of leaning on the fence. So the owner of the establishment yells at these kids, get away from the fence, and, yelled a bunch of stuff at them. So the kids kind of wander off. Well, Hunter, he's just standing there by the fence, and this guy yells at Hunter, "Hey, you, I'm talking to you. Are you stupid or something?" And I just turned around and I saw Melissa. I go, "Oh, this poor guy." You know what I mean? I just stepped out of the way while Melissa gave him a bit of an education, I guess I could say.
Yeah. And that's happened more than not. And I think we rolled with the punches just fine.
Yeah.
I was younger, had more energy.
Ready for a good fight. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it takes me a good while to get to that point.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to tear into this massive white oak log. Let me show you this thing, and I'll be up in a bit.
Okay.
All right, so I got this big old white oak here. It's a little bit oblong. It's 26 that way. 28 that way. No signs of metal on either side. I'm hoping for the best here, but this could be the best log I ever had on this mill. We won't know till we open it up, but I think it's pretty good. Now my goal is to get some beautiful quarter sawn and rift sawn lumber out of this the easiest way possible. Even with the hydraulic mill, this stuff is heavy. It really is. So what I'm gonna do, this is the center of the log right here. I'm gonna start off, just take a couple pieces off right here. Take this slab off and maybe one piece of 4/4 underneath of that. At that point, I'm gonna come all the way down here. I'll stay 2 inches up from the center, and we'll take this whole piece off right here. I'll set that off to the side with the excavator. Then I'll come back and take this piece off right here, this whole center out of here. This right in here will yield some really nice quarter sawn, but you got to get rid of the pith here in the center. So we'll take this piece off, then this piece off, then we'll stand this piece up on the mill, and we'll start getting some rift sawn and then some quarter sawn, and then we'll go back and put this piece on, if that makes sense. You know, staying away from the center, we should get like some 10-inch wide, beautiful quarter sawn lumber out of this. We should. All right, good news, bad news scenario here. This log, I don't know if you saw this one the other day, the end was kind of punky, and I kept working my way up it, trying to get to good solid wood. Well, it was still showing a little bit on this end here, but as you can see that like that streak right there? The good white oak is like pink. This stuff is a little bit punky right here. It kind of runs out way down at that end right there. That's the bad news. The good news is we're still going to get a lot of beautiful lumber out of this. This stuff right here, this will have kind of a plain sawn look to it, and I'll trim these edges off, right? Plain sawn, and then you're starting to get into rift sawn. The growth rings are going this way right here. Now, as we come down here, I mean, all of this right here should have some beautiful rays and flex in it right here. How nice that is. A little over 10 inches wide, quarter sawn white oak. You know what one of the best things I ever did was? Left this maple tree right here. Yes, it's in the way sometimes, but it keeps everything nice and shaded. So you know how I said this morning, if I get a third of everything I wanted to get done, it would still be a pretty good day? Kind of shaping up to look that way. I'm going to have to finish up that log tomorrow. I forgot, I need to get down and cut my mom's grass and do a couple other things for her. And then I think we have some people coming over later this afternoon. But it's a pretty good day. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.